Hello and welcome. I'm going to be doing some more dev in just a moment. I left myself a very handy to-do. The game won't compile until I finish it, so I remember what I was last doing, and I am just going to proceed. I need to be able to change this line here, because at the moment we only update our inventory if the inventory belongs to a player. And, oh, we're dropping a lot of frames. Hold on, let me just check my... No, it looks like we're still live. Weird. We only check the... Or we only update the UI if it belongs to a player. And we have inventories that don't belong to the player, but we want to update them anyway. And I think an easy and elegant way to do this... There's probably a better way, but it'll do. We can go to our component, collect inventory component. Yeah, inventory component. We can go to our inventory component. This is not the inventory component. Here we go. We can go to our inventory component, and then we can. Ah, shoot. I'll just comment these out, so that the game will stop complaining. I mean, Godot, stop complaining. We can't figure out this inventory slot. There we go. We're just gonna add a new variable. So we've got a parent variable. We're gonna add a player breadcrumb. And what this is going to be is whenever we change whenever the thing this is attached to has its collectible component update, we're going to see if we are in a player's inventory, and if so, we'll update the player breadcrumb. And if we are an inventory component that already belongs to a player component, player breadcrumb is just that player. It'll make sense once I write it out. Doesn't make sense saying it out loud, I'm certain. But on ready, we'll go if parent is player, then set the player breadcrumb equal to the parent, and then we need to also create a signal to the collectible component of our parent, but we want to wait. We actually want to wait, and if we do wait, we need to make sure we're not waiting in an infinite loop. Is there like a call deferred option? Call deferred is a method used to execute a function at the end of the current frame. I don't want this to. I want this ready function to finish before calling this function. So I hope this doesn't like block the logic. Okay, what I want is we're trying to update the player breadcrumb, and we need to be able to connect a signal to the collectible component if it exists. But the only way we can ensure that the collectible component exists before we make that call, hold on. is we have to wait. So base item, nope. This is, some items do have an inventory component, but they don't get added until after, do they? When does the inventory component happen for this? Print item data, replace with function body. Do we already have a signal for when the collector changes? We're gonna need one. Signal collector changed. Emit signal collector changed. And that's the wrong syntax, but now it's the right syntax. So we just need to listen for this signal and the inventory component, and I just need to remember, when does the inventory component happen? When we set the item data is going to go into here. What do we have for bag? Well, right there. No, right here. Super add inventory component, really? I'm going to assume that we don't need to wait because this item data is getting added after the item is already initialized. So all of the components are in place. We're good. We just need to go to the inventory component, and then on ready, we already have the collectible component. If this is a player, it does not have a collectible component. We're just going to assume that straight up. Else, if parent.get node, actually, let's put this in a var. Collectible component. Is this a thing? It is. Okay. Dot. I think we need to do connect. Is it something like collectible component.connect? Update play breadcrumb. Okay. Pass for now. So what we want this to do is we will go to our parent and then we will say, first of all, is there a parent? Oh no, there's always a parent. There's always a parent because that's just the item or the player. We'll go to our parent and then we'll say, is the collectible component connected to something? Has something collected this? Let's go ahead and get this. If and collectible component dot collector dot, this is an actor, I think. Oh, this could be anything. This could be anything. Let's check, is this a parent? Or is this a player? If the collectible component let me think. Okay, if the collectible component exists and it has a collector and that collector is a player, then we set the player breadcrumb. And we're done. Else if collectible component, if there is no collectible component, then if there's no collectible component collector, then we're done because nothing has us. Actually, we want to set the crumb to none. And otherwise, we want to get this thing's collector, get the collectible component for this thing, and repeat this logic. So I think we want a recursive function here. What kind of recursive function do I want? Let's do func update player breadcrumb logic. No. Recurse. And we need to pass in the collectible component. Oh, I just lost connection. My stream just died. Great. It looks like we're back. Okay. Yeah, sometimes my internet just does that. Okay, we gotta get this recursive. We need to have a collectible component. Collectible param. And this needs to return a player breadcrumb. And a player breadcrumb is a player. Okay. Okay, so, but I also want to have a limit because unbound recursion is a recipe for something exploding. So we're just going to say limit int is 64. And then we take this logic here, we stick it here, and we're good. We're not good. I need to do a little more. First of all, we'll set that up. Let me take this. Oh, actually. If limit equals 0, turn null. I guess I could bake this into here. Collectible param dot collector dot get node. Yeah, that should be. Nope, that's not correct. There we go. Oh, and then I should pass in limit -1. And here, player breadcrumb equals that should work. Am I calling this function? Yeah. Yeah. We never, okay, so we never set this up for if the inventory belongs to a player, and that's probably fine. I feel like that's going to result in an esoteric bug in like 8 months, and you know what? That's fine. That's fine. Then we get to see if this works. But to do that, we need to go back to the item slot. Right? Because this is where we... does the item slot know what inventory it belongs to? What is this parent? Inventory slot probably belongs to an inventory component. Yeah, it does. Okay, so if we just call get parent, we will get it. Right? Oh no, did I lose connection again? YouTube is not working, but Twitch is? Question mark? I'm looking at my test stream. I can't tell. It looks fine, but that could be useless. So we don't want parent.name. We actually want inventory component dot player breadcrumb dot name. All right, all of that written down just to make this work. Okay, it's working. It's happening. I don't like that the drag and drop is behind this window. Like why is that happening? Can we figure that out real quick? Let me just look at our remote. Which remote is this? It's not that one. That one's closed. So here's our UI layer. It's not this, so it's this. Yeah, okay. So if we bring this back, when I drag it, should create temporarily a thing. I don't see it. Ah, that's the targeting rect. Okay. Oh my, okay. Is there a way to just say always on top? Make this window always on top, please, because I don't. Okay, I need this to not be behind that. I don't mind if this is like on the very, very top. I do not mind that at all. Is there a way for me to change that? I'm not seeing the... I know last time I was seeing a temporary object appear here whenever I started dragging items around. But I'm not seeing that here. Okay, if I close this, yeah. Okay, let's go to the item slot. There's a thing about dragging. Nope, it's not here. Where is that? It's probably in the UI item slot. We go into the UI inventory point. Look at this. Somewhere. Get drag data. All right, hold on. Let me just. Why is this not dark mode? Drag and drop, not on top. I can set the Z index. I feel like that's dumb that I have to do that, but all right. We will set the Z index to infinity. I mean, it works. There appear to be no side effects. I could just set the Z index to like 1 and it should still work. Yep. All right, now let me try this. That's not correct. But I wonder, because like we delete this interface, it's gone. It doesn't exist anymore. When we recreate this interface, are we actually telling it, hey, do you have an item in you? You should draw that item. Or are we just not doing that? This contains an inventory slot. Okay. So we should just like, as a matter of respect, go, is there an item here? Maybe we should draw that item. If inventory slot dot item slot. TextureRect.texture should equal item in oh wait we have this information. If item in inv, then TextureRect.texture should just, we should just set that to yeah, there we go. Pick that up. Close that. Why didn't that work? Print. Oh, it's happening. It's happening a lot. Are we getting here? No, we're not. Okay. That's the problem. This is actually empty. Right. That's actually empty. Inventory slot's going to be empty too. So if we throw away this inventory, how do we get the inventory slot back? When is this inventory slot set? Okay, it's not. It's set here. When we call the build UI function, we should also, cool vid, thanks. We should also check the item slot. Does the item slot have something in it? If so, set the texture. Let's go to the thing. This is like a Zelda type of game. Not really. I mean, I guess it's top down. It's not meant to be actiony though. Grab this line of code. Where is it? Oh, I deleted it. Undelete it, please, so that I can steal this. And then we can get rid of these. That's not right. No, it is right. Inventory slot. Item slot. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's see it. Have we cracked the code? We open a new inventory, we put a thing in it, we close the inventory, we open it, we crash, okay. Invalid assignment of property or key texture with the value of type compressed 2D, a base object of type nil. Well, that's not good. Could it be that we're assigning this too early? If the item slot contains when is this texture? It should just happen immediately as soon as I call new, right? So this should exist. Oh, it might not exist. Oh, it doesn't exist until ready. Okay. Can we await UI node.ready? Yeah, like that. But actually, let's put it here, but for efficiency's sake, that's not a good sign. We can't do that. Oh, okay. So we create this inventory slot, but we can't assume that this texture rect exists until... Can I do... Am I allowed to do that? Nope. Okay. Okay. What do I need to do? I just need to think for a second. Just subbed? Nice. We can't await the UI node because we should be able to await this. Why isn't this working? Is there like a loop that, like, is this awaiting something? No. There's no reason that awaiting this shouldn't work. I'm kind of confused. Like, what? Why? Why? And there's nothing in here that's blocking. So, whatever. Okay. Godot, wait until ready. Can I do an on ready, like... That's what I'm doing. Could we like call deferred? The rest of the game will continue to run while this specific function waits. Let's see if we can call deferred. No. No. What we can do is go over here. I just don't understand why this doesn't work. I gotta announce yet. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate the sub. Yeah, it never happens. Why? Why doesn't this work? You know what I could do? It occurs to me, this has an item and inv variable. So maybe I can just set that instead of doing what I'm doing. Is that easier? No. Problem. This still crashes, but now it's crashing at this point. Okay. What if in this point we await? Oh, wait a minute. You know what could have been happening was here, when I had the await, no, this is not here. Here, when I had the await, what could be happening is I get to this function, I make a new UI inventory slot, and it's done. It's done. It goes really fast because we're just really fast. And then we get to here, and we set the inventory slot, and that works fine. And then we get to the await, and it's already done. So we'll never get this signal because it already happened. That could be happening. And if that's the case, I don't want to await already here. No, that can't be happening, because if that was happening, this texture rect would exist. And it doesn't exist. Await until object exists. Oh, this is really dumb. Instead of setting the texture, could I just set the texture rect to the sprite 2D? No, I don't think that works, because this is a control and a sprite 2D is not a control. Ugh. And there's no way to be like on ready. Right? Yeah, that doesn't work. What if we at this point say if no texture rect await ready? Okay. Why? Okay. I mean, it got there. Why did that take that long? Hold on now. What if I do this? Oops. Well, shoot. There was definitely a delay, though. Why was there a delay? Okay, we grab these. Open up a new inventory, shove this, close, open. No? Okay, maybe I hallucinated. I mean, it works, so... We can stick to that. We can go with that, and just say for now it works and move on. Back to the item slot. There's one more thing we want to do before we cap this off and say we're done. We need to be able to drop items on the floor. I would also like to be able to pick up items off of the floor, and I feel like that is just a case of we've got this Map? Or is this the game? When I click on this, what am I clicking on? There's a way for me to figure that out. Hold on. This thing. All right, close that. Yeah, that didn't work. I meant server. Okay, if I click, show list of selectable nodes. I'm not getting it. There we go. That's a point light. Okay, sure. Navigation region 2D is what I'm clicking on. Because it's like, I want to be able to just boop, drag it on the floor, and also boop, drag it into the inventory. As far as dragging from the inventory or from the ground, I can probably put a drag function in the item. The ground tiles. Ground tiles might be correct. That might be the thing. So if I drag from a location, the ground tile should go, what items are at my location? I don't believe there's a way to get that information. I don't have a handler for that. And I need one? Nope, these are components. I need a helper. A handler, I mean. Object handler. What do you know? Oh. How am I clicking on items? Like when I right click, the input handler collects that right click, and then it does a physics point query. Okay. I mean, we can put a function in the item. A drag function in the item. I'm pretty sure that'll work. Let's try it. Let's get the drag functions out of here. Can drop data, get drag data, can drop. We just actually just want the get drag data, I think. But let me go ahead and what will happen if I do this? Why isn't this function found? What? Set drag preview is a function I'm defining? Oh no, it's a thing in a control. Oh, this won't work. If this needs to be from a control. Items are not controls. This feels hard. This feels like something that huh. We cannot set the drag preview. This function doesn't even exist if this isn't a control, so never mind. Okay. Oh, okay. Maybe this won't work. Maybe dragging in will not be a thing, but I do need to be able to drag out. This is implying that I can drop it here. Like, I can't drop it here, but I can drop it here. But like, what function is receiving that drop? Like, if I do this, fail, and I've put the bag inside of itself, I should probably prevent that. This is a toughie. Okay, let me just, real quick, we're going to do some quick Googling Godot drag from UI to viewport. Since the viewport is not a control node with drop data, you should use a script on a parent node to detect when the mouse button is released. Oh, that's dumb. We have this that's what I was doing before, and then we find out we have this great function called drag data. Does all the magic for you, and then now we're finding out, yeah, that's great, but you can't use it. Input event screen drag. Oh. Why is my browser decided to be light mode? I don't understand. That's a headache. That's a headache. I gotta implement it myself. There's no magic. Oh, all right. If there's no magic, I don't mind doing something quick and dirty then. we can just not. You can't pick things up with drag and drop. We'll just cut that. This is never going to happen. I would like to be able to do I like to be able to do something to the effect of if I drop it anywhere else, the game will send a drop object signal, and then it'll just drop it at my feet, no matter where I put it. So the location doesn't matter. I just need to know when I do this, what line of code does that result in? What am I tapping into? Okay. Before I continue, because I'm thinking about it, I'm going to go into the move item. Nope. Is it move item? Why do I have all this? Where's the RPC that it did? Is swap item? Swap inventory slots. Here we go. We're going to not allow you to swap if inventory component 1 and inventory if the inventory component you are moving to is your inventory component. Okay. If so, slot 1 contains a slot 1 contains an item. I'm a bag. I'm getting put into a inventory component. I should check to make sure that the inventory component's parent is not me. And vice versa. If slot 1 dot item slot, what is, I think this is an item, this is an inventory slot. Does not equals inventory component to dot parent or slot 2 dot item slot equals inventory component 1 dot parent. Return. Don't continue. What do you mean inventory component? Oh. There we go. Just return. This should prevent us from putting the bag inside of itself. Yeah, can't do it. But we can put other things into it. We can do that. But again, we can't do that. Okay. This does not stop us from putting a bag inside of a bag and then putting the first bag inside of the second bag. I don't know how we're going to prevent that. I mean, it's possible to do it. I just don't like. Let me just leave it to do for myself. To do prevent circular baggery. Bag inside bag, inside. Okay. Godot control node. Maybe there's something in the docs that's like, if you try and drag and drop onto something that's not a control, from control node to non-control node. Let's use a custom implementation. Use an invisible UI. Detect drop on non-control node. Is there a way to say you tried to drag somewhere, but it was not handled by a control node? Unhandled. Just look at this. Force drag? Okay. Wow. Viewport provides a function on querying the state of any drag. Viewport GUI get drag data. But a viewport is not a control, right? If we add a child node, viewport not a control, it is in fact its own thing. So this is implying that viewports are not as helpless as we thought. Godot viewport drag and drop. feel like I should just pause here and read. Spend a day or two just reading through, soaking up as much information as I can about how this stuff works, and then maybe it'll click together and I'll be able to say, oh, that makes sense. I need to do X. Or, oh, this whole thing is cursed and I should just give up and not do this and write a completely separate solution. It feels like there's an easy way to do this that Godot just doesn't support. And I'm just grieving for that loss mentally. Just can't focus. So I'm just going to go, we're going to say the bag is good enough. And then we're going to add a little to do for us later. Dropping items. We'll come back. We'll drop items in the future. Let's implement some more items. Let me implement what do I have art for? Bag, empty bottle, shield and sword. Okay, let's do empty bottle. So an empty bottle has a very simple role. Let me get the health potion. We got a Sprite. This has no use function. And we need to modify the health potion. When you call this, don't call item.queueFree. Instead, call item.itemData equals load I just should have called it empty bottle. Assertion failed. We shouldn't do this the way that we're doing it. Okay. I get you. Okay. That's fine. We'll do this we'll do this slightly cleaner. Sorry, past self. No, what we're going to do is we're going to declare a new variable. New item equals item.instantiate. Or wait a minute, hold on. I've said don't do this. Oh, because I'm calling a knit. And initting an item that's already been initted could be problematic. It could be problematic because if we call a knit on a bag, and we do it twice, we'll have two inventory things, and that's just, ugh. Okay. Maybe I should preserve that. I should preserve this assertion. Let's not try and make that. Let's just be inefficient. It's okay to be a little inefficient, for the sake of not writing weird bugs for our game. We'll just make a new item. load. We need to load the packed scene for the item. Can I copy the UID? There we go. New item dot item data equals load res source data bottle. There we go. We're done. Oh no, we're not. Item dot queue free. It's actually hugely problematic to make a new item because we have to put it where the old item is. What if what if we just support this? The problem is we don't want to init. I mean, okay. We'll just say this. This should be safe. We get no init if we are changing an item. Init only called for new items. Did I? No, I think I did. Okay, we take this, we drink it, and that didn't work. Okay. Shoot. Unless I goofed somehow with the item data. No, that's an empty bottle. Look at the health potion. That should have worked. And the health potion doesn't have an init, and neither does the bottle. So, whatever. Setting this apparently does not update the texture, but it does. But maybe changing the sprite 2D texture does not update the UI. But how is it updating currently? Huh. Multiplayer dungeon crawler. That's the plan. If we ever get there. Work in progress. This, okay, so okay. Let me just make sure. Why multiplayer though? Why not? Let me just make sure we're getting here. Okay. We're getting here. Okay. This is an empty bottle. Why does it not look like an empty bottle? Updating the texture does not update the UI, but it should. What am I doing? Maybe we should have a signal on change. On sprite change? Because that is happening. We are changing the sprite. And then we go to the inventory slot. And we say, inventory slot, you better pay attention. Hook into the signal for this item and pay attention. If the thing changes, then update. This to-do doesn't belong here anymore. If X is not have an item, if X is not the item slot, we should item slot disconnect on sprite change. Update sprite. So the question, but why not use the built-in drag and drop function? We are using that, but it doesn't. It only works for controls. So like, oh, I can't. So like, it works great when we do this, because this is a control. We can drag. We can use the drag and drop there. But if we want to do this, this is not a control. So there's no. It just we just hit nothing. We hit a. Godot does not catch that and does not expose that to us, as far as I know. On sprite change, and then on sprite change, we call a function. Update sprite. And that's when we go to the UI node. Item and inv. If UI node. If item UI node. UI node item in inv. No, item node dot texture rect equals dot texture equals item and inv dot texture dot sprite 2D dot texture. Give me too few. Oh, right. Update sprite. And then item slot dot connect. This Is that all we need? That feels like that's all we need. That put... What do you mean item and end was not declared in the current scope? Where did I hallucinate that from? Oh, UI node. Unfortunate. Oh. Oh, what am I doing? I closed it because an error happened, but I didn't look at the error. I just ran away. Cannot call method disconnect on a null value. Great. We can't call that because it doesn't exist yet. If item slot. It just occurs to me though, there might be a simpler, nope, there isn't, just kidding. Take that occur and get rid of it. This didn't work? Really? Oh, cannot call connect. Oh my God. Maybe this isn't the right place to be doing this. Maybe this was a mistake, but in the UI node, I'm just thinking though, this will update it when it's in the UI. But what if we have an item that updates itself outside of the UI? We need it to also be able to update its sprite, and doing so is annoying. It doesn't matter for this one in particular, but we're going to implement a torch soon, and the torch absolutely can change its sprite. And we want to be able to capture sprite changes and propagate them. And how do we do that? What's the best way to do that? I think I'm going to clean up my code soon. Okay, so we're already connecting on destroyed. We could connect on sprite change dot connect update sprite. There we go. I guess this doesn't have to be a hidden function, because all we're doing is we're just get the item in inventory. We're just doing this, except instead of X, it's item in inv. Okay. Why doesn't that work? Okay, let me check something. Let me check something stupid. No, the empty bottle looks different. Okay, it's not it's not an issue of just like I accidentally they're accidentally the same picture. Which would be embarrassing, but okay. And we are actually using that photo, so oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Something occurs to me. Nope, never mind. We've already handled it. Sorry. It occurs to me like there's a sprite, but maybe we're not setting the texture. No, we're setting the texture. We're definitely setting the texture. In fact, let me just go over here. Let's go into the remote. Let's find that item. Connect to the client. Okay. There's an item here. It's got a sprite. There it is. Let's drink all the potions. What happens to that sprite? It's untouched. Why is that sprite untouched? That should have changed. Hold on. Print item data. That's correct. Let's print that. What is this? That's the right picture. Okay. Print sprite 2D.texture. That's the right texture. Well, I'm just flummoxed. Is this a case of like I can't update the I'm not allowed to update the texture because this is this is owned by the server. This picture is owned by the server and I'm not allowed to change it. That cannot be. No, that actually cannot be because I'm not transferring the photo. That can't be. Plus, this says it's been updated. Like, this is wrong. This is the server. Okay. Okay. Well, that's annoying. So what we're doing won't work because we're thinking single player, but this is multiplayer. Is that the case? We cannot update the sprite this way. That does not make sense to me. If it's a multiplayer authority issue. I can understand it being like, okay, we can't update this picture for other people, but we should still be able to update it for ourselves. What's up? I was just making a game in VS and Java all night. Nice. What are you doing and using? This is Godot. This is Godot 4.6. And it is a multiplayer dungeon crawler, or it will be. We're just trying to figure out why we can't update this sprite. My guess at this point is it is a multiplayer authority issue. No, it shouldn't be though, because we've updated the sprite on the server because okay. Hold on, my brain is catching up. We're calling use, and use is reaching an RPC out, and the RPC goes and uses it on the server, and then whenever we use an item, nothing we do in the use function propagates unless we explicitly set that up to propagate. So this works on the server. We don't have any way of transferring that to the client currently. Shoot. How are we spawning items? No, we should have this thing right here. This item spawner is responsible for keeping items. Maybe the spawning a new item strategy was correct. Because, I mean, what I could do, but this is dumb, but what I could do is I could create a component in the item that's responsible for synchronizing the data. You look stressed right now? Oh, well, sorry about that. We could take the... We could create a synchronizer and then make it responsive. No, synchronizer can't synchronize resources. It can only synchronize primitives. So we could create an RPC function that's transform item, something like that. I'm just thinking that it would be fine to just create a new item and then fill it with an item. Item has a position component, and we can just copy the position. Actually, we don't need the position at all, but we can copy the position from the old item into the new item. We don't need to copy this over. We don't need to copy this over. We do need to copy the collectible component. Could I just steal the collectible component? And then the item exists in an item slot. So we need to put ourselves in the item slot that this item belongs in. But I don't think there's any way for me to take an item and get the item slot from it. Like, that's not a variable. An item doesn't know where it is. Neither does the collectible component. The collectible component knows who has it, but it doesn't know where it is. It doesn't have the item slot. So do we need to make that, if we make that information available to the collectible component, if we tell the collectible component, here's the item slot that you're in, that gives the client enough information to just replace an item with a different item if we need it to. Oh. So if we do that, we can just get rid of all this. We can go back to saying you cannot change the item data. In fact, I should just do that. You cannot change the item data. Do not do that. Not supported. Hi from Florida. Welcome. We're just trying to roll back this idea that we had that's not going to work and do things in a slightly clunkier but overall easier to understand, and it should be more robust way. We're going to go to the health potion. We're going to go back to, no, we're not going to do this. We're going to create a new item. Our new item equals node dot instantiate new item dot item data equals. All right. This should propagate automatically to all players. We need to take the old item collectible component, give it to the new item. Perhaps instead of that, what we could do is we could create a function in the collectible component that's like copy. Func copy. Collectible param and then we go collector equals collector. We don't even need to update the name. That'll update automatically. Parent and then that's it. It's just those two things. Really? Do I need to update parent? Oh, I should reverse the order of these. Yeah. So what we actually can do now in the health potion data, new item dot get node collectible component dot copy. I think I got it backwards. I should call it copy into. And then we do item dot get node dot collectible component dot copy. into new item dot get node. And then we're done. All right, we've copied the collectible component. Now all we need to do is figure out how we're going to get the item slot. We need to set that aside for ourselves. Item slots are handled in the inventory component. We do know where the inventory component is because we have the collectible component. The collectible component has the collector. Collector necessarily has an inventory component. That's not entirely true though. The collector thinking. Okay, so if I okay. Oh, I can't do it. We're not doing a sprite change anymore. That's not a thing. Go back to item. Yeah, we're not doing that anymore. All right. Let me just do a quick check. Pick all this up. Let's go to our remote. And this is not the right session. There we go. We see this item. It's got a collectible component. The collector is a player. Okay, but what if we do this? Okay, this is a health potion. Who's the collector? Still the player. Yeah, the collector is the player. So we can't just get we can't go to the collector and say where's the item slot? Item slots are an inventory component. Oh, jeez. This is a mess. Okay. You know, it occurs to me, if the collectible component is always pointing to the player, did I need this breadcrumb? Did I write this for no reason? Because I can always just go to the collectible component and see, does a player hold me? If so, great. Yeah, I wrote this with the assumption that a collector could be not a player. The collector could be a bag. And that's true, because I might have inventories that aren't players, like a treasure chest. So, is that a bug then? This should update every time the item slot moves. Did I say item slot? Every time the item moves, this should update. Which means the RPC handler that we wrote is not done. Swap inventory slot. Okay, hold on. Let me. When do I set the collector? Okay, I'm sick of this code. Get rid of it. I'm also sick of this. I don't need unnecessary passes. Collector changed. Here we go. Add item to inventory for slot and item slots. If the slot is an item, not an item slot, then make it so. And then update the collectible component. And the parent to the, wait. This is updating the collectible component. So if we put this into a bag, the bag should be the collector. Why isn't that happening? Are we not calling this add item to inventory function? Is that the problem? Oh, we're not. That's the problem. We only call this when we pick up something for the first time. We don't call this when we're swapping items. Oh. Okay. I would prefer if the inventory component had the swap function, and then the inventory swap command, just calling this function, and this function is just calling the swap instead of doing the swap here. Oh no, I'm running out of steam. Let's make a swap function in the inventory component and then stop. So func swap items. We need the item slots. So we should do this on the inventory component level because of reasons. Okay, so if I am given an item slot that I'm the inventory component, I have some item slots. If I'm given the item slot, and then I'm given another item slot that belongs to another inventory component, or it could belong to me, what I need to do is take the item, swap it, and then take the collectible component and update the collector. And then everything else should work great. So I'm going to take in a local slot. And then inventory component, other, I'm going to say remote inventory component, and then remote slot. Okay, and then we take the RPC logic. I could have it pass in the inventory slot. I could do that, but this is easier. But I do need to, I just need to take all this, copy the whole thing, and then we'll shave it down. So we don't need this because we are this. And we don't need this because we're passing it in. Did I delete it? No, I didn't. Good. So we don't need that. Slot 1 can be get node. I don't need to get node. It actually, for this one, we can just local slot num item slots -1. Local slot num -1. And then this one is remote dot item slots okay. Okay. This swap is happening. And then we need to update the collectible component for both. You'll make it keep on grinding, man. You make people like me motivated. Oh, thanks. Good to hear. I'm still set on getting this stage 1 done by the end of the month. End of this month at this point. Gonna do it. Might take twice as much work as I thought it would, but I'm gonna do it. Slot 1 dot item slot this gives me an item, right? Dot get node collectible component dot collector equals remote inventory component dot parent, and then slot 2 slot dot get node Okay, that should get the collectors sorted out. All we need to do now is have the RPC handler call this function. So, okay, we don't need any of this anymore. We just go inventory component 1 dot swap items slot 1 param inventory component 2 slot 2 param, and we're done. Let's hit the play button and see if it actually works. There's a chance it doesn't. Can't call method get node on a null value. That's absurd. What? If slot 1 dot item slot if slot 2 dot item slot. Okay. Okay. So that works. Good. I was worried that the item slots would be out of order in the array, but it appears that they are in order, at least at the moment. And if we do this, nothing happens. Great. Now let's pick up an item and let's swap these. Yeah. Yeah, now let's shove this into another inventory. Let's shove it back. Can we swap these items? Won't let us do that. Good. All right. Drink it, drink it. Oh. Non-existent function add HP and base nil. Okay. Okay. Oh no. Why is that happening? We can't drink 2 potions? We can drink 2 potions, but what if they're in different inventories? Oh, is it because I'm drinking in a bag? No. Yeah, because this is actually not the correct person. This is actually, it should not be the collector. It should be the player breadcrumb that gets healed. I shouldn't call it the breadcrumb. As much as call it the player, right? Because 100% my intention was that a non-player could be a collector. Items can be in chests. Items can be inside other items. So shoot. How was I going to do that? That's annoying. Get the health component of the collector. Add 20 HP to them. All right, hold on. Because as written, like this should not work. That shouldn't work. That shouldn't work either. Well, okay, that is actually fine. But this shouldn't work. What is the collectible component for the HP? Collector is still that, even though it shouldn't be. It should be 2 item. Why is that not the why is that not the case? Okay. Crunk. If I open this up and put a thing in here, slot 2 now has the parent character body 2D Y. There we go. Now it's static body. Did I have it backwards? Is that the problem? Oh, I had it backwards. Oh. Slot 1. Right, because they're swapped at this point. So this should actually be... Oops. It should be like that. Okay. Let's try it now. Is it going to crash according to how it should crash? Let's find out. Okay, so if I take a potion, put it back, should crash, should crash. There we go. Okay, good. Now we just need to figure out. I just wanted to make empty bottles a thing, and now we have to figure out how do we make our healing potion heal us when the healing potion is not in our hands, but it's in a bag. We have the number. We should be able to okay. We get the collector. Dot get node inventory dot player breadcrumb. We should be able to get the thing. The thing though, the problem is, what if I want non-players to be able to drink potions? Maybe we just... This is stage 1. We don't have monsters drinking potions. That's just not a core concern. All right, well, we can drink. And we can drink unlimited because we got rid of the thing where we delete the item. So now we're at the stage where we create a new item. We make it an empty bottle. We copy the collectible component. I just need to copy the item slot as well. So we should be able to go to the collectible component that we just set up, go to the inventory component, and then what we can do is just go through every inventory slot and say, am I here? Am I here? Am I here? Am I here? Until we find the healing potion that we used to be, and then we just swap ourselves in and out, and then we're done. Then theoretically the synchronizer should take it from there. Theoretically. Let's try it. Okay, then we go item dot, actually let me var collectible component equals collectible component dot collector dot get node inventory component dot item inventory slots. What are they called? Item slots. For slot in those slot dot item slot equals item. Slot dot item slot equals new item. Do we need to add this new item as a child? We do. Input handler dot main dot add child new item queue free. Item dot queue free. There we go. That should do it. That should turn our bottles into empty bottles. Well, it didn't. What if we don't queue free? That still gets rid of the bottle. Okay. Oh, no. No. Thinking. No, I'm stumped. I'm missing something critical. Why is the potion disappearing? Collector. I think I made a mess of everything, and I regret. I think I'm just gonna have to spend this weekend cleaning this up. I'm not gonna make any progress. I just have to clean the code up so that I can not code myself into a corner. I need clean functions that I can rely on. What have I done? Okay, let me go over here. Remote. We have our items. There's one. Let's just drink all the health potions and... Oh, it even highlights. And of course, this item still exists, and we did not add a new item, even though I explicitly told it to add a new item. Did we not do this? Okay, deleted, but no new item. Is this just a suggestion? Did I not correctly... item. Is there a function I'm supposed to be calling to create items? There might be. Okay. Maybe I should be calling this function item spawner. Spawn item. I never call this function. Okay, whatever. We'll call it now. This is the item spawner. How do I get to this? Where is this code even? I gotta get node to get it. Okay. Okay, this is dumb, but what if I... Instead of this, input handler dot main dot get node item spawner dot spawn item. This takes in a data and data 0 and then an item data param. Okay. Item dot position item data. Oh, I can just do this. Up, up. Kill that. We don't need to add child. Okay, I'll grab that. And it crashes. Trying to assign value of type object to a variable of type string. No. Oh. Oh, okay. Oh, no. Yes. I can just do this, actually. Totally happy with that. Almost. We did not spawn an item. That's the problem. Why is it not spawning an item? Why is it not spawning an item? The item spawner's job is to spawn items, and it's not doing it. Print item spawn called. We should see this happen 3 times when we hit the server button. It gets called 3 more times when the client, I guess, sure. Okay, it did get called. Oh. Does the item spawner... Okay. So... this should be getting handled. Maybe... Okay, maybe I do need to add it as a child. When am I ever calling this function? Like, I've created the function and then never used it. I'm a little confused. Is it being called in here when I am spawn starting items? We're just calling spawn. What? How does that translate into... Oh, okay. Okay. I should just call spawn, not spawn item. Got it. Confusing. But maybe that makes a difference. Yep, that was it. I just need to call spawn, not spawn item. Okay, now we have bottles. Wow. Oh, invalid. What? Invalid assignment of property key visible with type bool on a base object is type previously freed. Mercy. We can't update the parent of this because it doesn't exist anymore. But we updated the collector name. Oh, wait a minute. This is the old parent. We want to update the parent, actually. We don't want to copy the old parent. We want to use the new parent. What if I just don't? Let me go ahead and drink one and then put that in here and it works. Okay, cool. And then let's put the other one in here and drink that. Move it back. Yeah, okay, that was a problem. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go into here and I'm gonna say call spawn. Not this. Don't call this directly. And maybe I should just like do that. Just to let my future self know, hey, don't call this function, it doesn't work. Cool. I'm gonna stop. That took way longer. It took way more effort than I thought it would to implement the empty bottle. But we got it. That does not bode well for the rest. For Torch, I'm kind of worried about Torch, but we'll get there. Needs dropping items. We'll do Torch next. And that means I need to do some art before the next stream, so that we have a Torch art to put in. And I don't know I'm going to have the sprite update. Welp, that's a problem for future me. The rest of these, I'm hoping there are no more curveballs. There might be a curveball with bread. There shouldn't be a curveball with any of these others. And then item data spree. And then we've got 20 more things. Can we get that done by the end of the month? Can we get this done by the weekend? And this too. And then magic, I don't think will be particularly easy. Having a second level dropping items are not going to be easy either. This is already done. This I'm worried about. Yeah, I don't think I can get this. Looking at this, I'm not feeling confident because this was not a good day. But let's just stay optimistic. Stay optimistic. We're gonna get this. We're gonna get there. Okay. That's it for me. I'm gonna stop here. But thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for the encouragement. Hope y'all's projects are going well. Hope you're playing lots of games, having lots of fun. Keep coding, y'all. See you all next time.